Every year when Lent rolls around, we hear about our threefold call to pray, to fast, and to give alms. And oftentimes during Lent, there are great initiatives like the CRS Rice Bowl to help us give alms. But I have to step back sometimes and look at how I'm giving alms. Am I just throwing in my loose change into that rice bowl and checking that off my list? The important part of almsgiving is recognizing that what we have, our money, our time, our talent, is actually God's. Those are God's gifts. And almsgiving is a way for us to give those gifts back to Him. I was in a book study a few months ago, and one of the guys in the book study owns a chain of restaurants. And he offered to buy all of our books. And he told us to use the money that we would use for the books instead to give to somebody who needed it. And we tried to protest, and we wouldn't let him do it. And he said, "Why? This money isn't mine, it's God's." Now that really struck me because it's one thing to see that on paper and it's one thing to hear it from the pulpit, but to see it lived out in life really makes an impression. That's the whole point of almsgiving, to give God's gifts back to Him, recognizing that they're not really ours, but were given to us for the benefit of others. And so when we look at almsgiving, we have to recognize that we're called to give until it's a sacrifice. It's not a matter of just throwing in my loose change or giving whatever's left over in my budget at the end of the month to the church. But it's a matter of really sitting down and thinking and looking at my budget and recognizing that I'm called to give of what I've been given. Now, this might be financially. It also might be time and talent. Those are valuable gifts the church needs. I think sometimes we're hesitant to talk about tithing because to put a number on it, it seems like a tax, like the church is being greedy and taxing us. But I personally find tithing a good benchmark because when I sit down with my budget at the beginning of the month, I often find that I'm not giving even close to 10%. And while it takes time to work up to that sacrificial gift, because 10% can be a lot, it's a good benchmark to have to make sure that my tithe or my gift to the church isn't just my leftovers, but that I'm really giving God from the gifts that He gave me. That's the whole point of almsgiving. I've been given a lot, and now I must give it back because there are people out there who need that even more than I do. Think about the story of the widow's mite. That widow didn't give 10%, she gave everything she had. And Christ didn't take it out of the temple treasury and give it back to her, but He commended her for her sacrifice and for her trust. He might not be asking you to give everything to Him this month, but He is asking you to give something, and something that's a sacrifice, not just a little off the top, but something that really will make a difference in your life and in another's. And that's a little theology in 3 minutes.